Welcome back to another episode of Broken Mirror, guys. If you've been here, then you know that we've been working on my Jeep, and I think you guys just watched me remove all the trim. So I'm not gonna lie, thought that was all going to take me 20 minutes to remove that trim. Really, all I was trying to do was remove this mirror and these little trim panels. These things are so aggressive to get off that I had to remove all the door panels. I also had to remove the tops, which actually took me about 3 minutes to knock out. But a lot of you guys ask, like, how do I know all this? How do I know so much how to do all these things? It's because I keep eating. It is crazy how many times I lose to learn what things actually take, how many times I've broken things, how to fix things. By the end, it took me about 4 hours to remove door trims because I had to remove all the door panels. I had to learn the most extensive door panel removal I've ever done, like 8-9 bolts to remove a simple door panel, have to remove part of the door panel to unscrew supporting pieces that support the pulleys to the window. It was insane. Absolutely nuts just to remove a door panel. Should have took me 10 minutes each max. And I shouldn't even have had to do that to remove the trim. So anyway, you gotta keep eating it. You gotta keep taking a little bite at a time until you learn. And then by the end, I was able to do the last one within like 4 minutes, remove the whole panel and the trim and the window seals, all of it. I was able to knock it out. So it's just about eating it a little bit at a time until you don't have to eat it so much the next time. That's how I learn. And that's how you can learn as well. But right now, what I would like to get back to is filling and grinding all these little pieces. I think you watched me grind them all away, but I just noticed there's a couple more. There's one little dent here, and I believe I have another one, that little dent right there. Now, these don't seem like big deals. In fact, I'm going to sand this one. This was a dent that came up, probably from putting in the wrong hood support, but I'm going to try to sand that one down. I'll bang it in a little more and I'll fill it if I have to. But this might seem a little excessive. Honestly, when they do these report checks, they not mark down each little nick. Every little thing starts to add up to a bad condition report. I learned that on the Kia. I thought I had a perfect Kia, and they gave me a 2.7 out of 5. I imagine one hole was for the bad engine, but they knocked off another 1.5 almost for little things I didn't even acknowledge. So this time, since I'm here, I'm already doing this work. I'm already going to be doing body fill work. I also need to keep practicing and eating a little more, as we just talked about. So I'm going to keep practicing on these and hopefully learn how to get body work down. So anyway, I'm gonna get started grinding these away and start filling them back up. Okay, so it is the next day. I think I probably missed some of those scenes with you guys. Sorry, the Bondo was drying so quick. I kept trying to apply it, and then when I went to move the camera, the Bondo would dry and it would all turn hard. I literally had, I think, like between 60 to 180 seconds to get that stuff on the car. Probably about 180, it would start hardening and start crumbling, and then within another minute after that, it was done. There's no use for it. so I had to be quick. I did end up putting a little less hardener on the final glaze stuff, but this stuff is amazing. If you guys could feel how hard this feels, it's kind of crazy how this thin layer of glaze feels like a rock. It's pretty neat. But all the spots are set up pretty good. I think I might have put a little too much on some spots. But right now what I want to do is sand these all down with about 240 grit, and then I'll probably move up to 320 and hopefully get some primer on them today, if not the beginning of tomorrow. And then I'm probably going to sand the rest of the car today as well to get it prepped for paint, because we are pretty much at that stage. So anyway, I'm going to get started sanding. It's the next day. Things came out pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with how well it's turning out. I still need to wet sand it, make sure that it all fits good. But one of the things that surprised me is how much primer can actually hide all the imperfections. What I mean by that is not actually correcting them, but how much I just can't see if there are any there because it's so flat. There's no reflection like that light, and you can see the ridge line. Nothing. Can't see a single thing. But the next thing I want to do on here is wet sand the whole thing with 400 grit. I think 400 is the highest I need to go before spraying new coats. Maybe it's 800. I'll do a little bit of research to find out if I need to move up to 800. I do need to remove these windshield washer little spigot things. But other than that, I plan to rip through this. Hopefully all the bodywork is good. I'm probably going to do a little bit of guide coating after I wet sand it, just to kind of see if there's any high spots. If there are, then hopefully I can work them down. The one place I still think I'm gonna have a problem is right here on the lip. I can feel that there's a weird little hump like right here, and I think it's gonna have to go. I'm just gonna deal with it. If they notice it, they notice it. But one of the things I'm learning as you go is that when metal gets dented, it doesn't just bend where you see the dent is, it bends around the dent. And you kind of know that until it's like simple little things, like I thought this was just a simple bend down, but really what happened is the lip bent down, but also pushed this metal up here out. So it kind of like curled up like that. So when I popped it back out, The outer sheet of metal is still further out. Kind of a learning curve. I'm just going to eat it on this one. The lips are already hard to kind of fabricate and fit. To fix this, I'd have to hammer this back in and then re-bondo it, redo the glaze, redo the primer, and all that for like this 5-inch section that's barely going to show. So I think I'm going to leave it. Hopefully the sander will take out most of it and it'll just barely be noticeable. But everything else is looking good. So I think, this is looking real sharp. I do see a little bit left of what was there, but I think the sanding will actually knock it right out. But anyway, I'm gonna get started sanding this thing down with 400. Change of plans. My orbital sander is not working for this. It's destroying the paint. It happened in my Audi, but I'm seeing it again here and I'm realizing what's happening. Basically, I have the hold set up for my orbital sander, and what it's doing, so I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's like these little extra swirl marks, and what's happening is these aren't perfectly flat. You see that? You see those little lips? So those little lips are hanging over on each one of those holes, and that's on every piece of those sanding bricks. So when that happens, it's putting all these extra little swirl marks that are deeper than the actual sandpaper itself. Happened in the Audi. I thought I was able to get the majority of it out, but I did see a few of them left in, and the whole purpose of this was to make this paint job look OEM and like nothing's wrong with the paint. So I had to call it quits on that. I also realized I misinterpreted what I had learned, and I was only supposed to bring this down to like 800, all the paint that's just going to get another coat over it, even 1,000 if I could, and only hit primer with 400 to break it down, and then put sealer over top, and then that would be okay. But since I have now brought this all the way to 400, I've tried to bring it back up to 500. I'm going to have to seal the entire hood, which was not my plan at all. I was just going to hit these little corners and then paint it over with the one stage. All the spots I'm kind of burning through because I don't have the right sandpaper for everything. I've run out. I've gotten down to just using the brick and the block for 500, but it's a little too aggressive, and I'm burning back through all the primers and spots, so I'm having to retouch. For the body panels, I needed 1,000. I don't have 1,000 or 800. I don't have either. And like I said, my orbital is just not doing the job. So I think I'm going to do that later. I'm going to go get a new orbital DA. I think they're like $60 right now at Harbor Freight. I'm going to get some 6-inch pads, no more holes, so I don't have those imperfections. And I bought an air one, but unfortunately this compressor just doesn't keep up. So it kind of runs out within, I don't know, 2 minutes of using it. But right now I actually have to go run some errands because me and the missus are heading to Denver at like 6 a.m. tomorrow. In fact, while you're watching this, we're probably in Denver. So if you guys have any tips, places we should go hit, I'd greatly appreciate it. We do like to sightsee and see cool stuff, and I really don't know that much about Denver. So if you know any cool places in Denver, please let me know. Please put it down in the comments. I'll be looking at the comments Sunday morning, which is the day we'll be spending together checking out the city. So yeah, anyway, next week I will be doing all the paint, and I'm going to finish the sanding and just hopefully finish the entire car in the next episode. So until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Later, guys.